Welcome to Seeds of Wisdom, a place where wisdom grows, one seed at a time. You're probably lying in bed right now, aren't you? You've got things to do, a whole list of tasks waiting for you, but instead, you're holding your phone in your hand because you just can't put it down, not even for a minute. Maybe you're even watching this in the bathroom because that phone follows you everywhere. I don't know exactly where you are right now, but I can probably guess one thing. You're living in a constant state of exhaustion and guilt. You feel like a failure because deep down, you know you could have done better, achieved more, if only you had stayed consistent a little longer. Maybe you've set goals before. Maybe you've told yourself tomorrow will be different. But then tomorrow comes and nothing changes. That disappointment starts to build up, and eventually you start to believe that maybe you'll never change at all. But let me tell you something, you're not lazy. You're not weak, you're just stuck in a cycle you've grown used to. Procrastinate, feel bad, procrastinate again. And if you truly want to change your life, if you want to break out of this quiet self-destruction, then the very first thing you need to do is actually very simple. Finish this video, because if you can't even complete something as small as this, you can't expect yourself to manage a whole day, let alone transform your entire life. In this video, I'm going to show you how to break free from laziness without forcing yourself, how to manage your phone addiction, even if you still need to use it every day, and a few super simple but highly effective tips to help you plan better and stay organized. I'll also talk about how to overcome perfectionism, the silent killer of progress that's keeping you stuck. I'm not going to pretend it's easy. There will be moments when you want to stop, when you feel too tired, or when your finger hovers over another app just for a quick scroll. That's okay. But if you can push just a little harder than you did yesterday, just a little, you might be surprised how different things can become. 1. Stop chasing negative relatability. There's a certain kind of content that's quietly dragging you down without you realizing it. Those videos, posts, and confessions that feel so relatable, so much like your own life, that they make procrastination seem normal? You know exactly what I'm talking about. Those clips of people saying they turned in their assignment late again, stayed in bed all day, couldn't get up this morning. And you exhale thinking, whew, at least I'm not the only one. But here's the hard truth. You don't need that kind of comfort forever. At first, it feels good to know someone else is struggling like you. But the more you surround yourself with it, the more it becomes an excuse to stay the same. You start accepting your current state as your personality. Laziness doesn't feel like a problem anymore because, well, everyone's like this. And slowly, those goals you were once so excited about, those dreams you used to write down and visualize, start fading into the background, replaced by compromise and numbness. I'm not saying you need to stop being kind to yourself, but you do need to stop seeking comfort in spaces that keep you stuck. Start filtering what you expose yourself to every day. Clean up what you allow into your mind the moment you wake up. If you need to, create a new social media account, one where you only follow people who are already living the life you want. At first, yeah, you might feel jealous. You'll think they're better than you, more disciplined, more peaceful. But instead of feeling small, ask yourself, why not me? You weren't born lazy, you just haven't learned a different way to live yet. And you absolutely can learn if you're in the right environment that encourages growth. Be intentional with the content you consume, because what you feed your mind is what you become. And slowly you'll start to change, not because of some faraway motivation, but because you've finally chosen to surround yourself with better influences. Day by day. 2. Break free from phone addiction without cutting it off. We all know our phones are eating up our time, but the truth is, you can't just put your phone away and forget about it. It's not just entertainment anymore, it's where you study, work, stay connected, and honestly, sometimes it's the only thing that helps you feel a little less empty during long days. The issue isn't that you have a phone, it's how you're using it. A lot of people try to quit cold turkey, setting harsh screen limits, deleting apps, switching to a second dumb phone. But it rarely sticks. It's like eating 8 cookies a day, then suddenly forcing yourself to eat none. Most of the time you'll bounce back and eat 10. Instead of treating your phone like the enemy, turn it into a tool. If you can't stop using it, change the way you use it. Swap out apps that drain you for ones that build you, even if it's just a little bit. Replace TikTok with a language learning app. Follow educational content on Instagram. Trade your morning scroll for a 15-minute positive podcast. You don't need to become a perfect person. You just need to stop giving your energy to things that leave you emptier than before. Here's a small tip. If you have work to do but can't put your phone away, don't force it. Let it sit next to you, but start your task first. Just a small action. Open the file, write the title, get your materials ready. Once you get the ball rolling, the phone won't have the same pull. What you need right now isn't to eliminate temptation entirely, it's to learn how to move forward even while temptation is still there. You don't need to win the war against your phone in one day. You just need to win the first 5 minutes. Because if you can push through those first 5, chances are you'll get through the next 30, and bit by bit, you'll stop being led by your phone and start choosing how to use it on your own terms. 3. Start small, fight the all-or-nothing mindset. One of the biggest reasons you can't seem to start but can't follow through is that you're holding on to this hidden expectation. If you're going to do something, it has to be perfect, it has to be all in. It has to be done in one sitting. Sounds like high standards, but in reality, it's just a sweet-sounding trap that feeds procrastination. When you think it's only worth doing if I do it all, you'll never begin with something small. Folding a few shirts feels pointless if you can't organize the whole closet. Writing a paragraph doesn't feel like progress unless you're ready to finish the entire essay. And so you end up doing nothing. You lie there, staring at a growing list of tasks, sighing, and eventually turning off the lights, feeling like a failure because once again, I got nothing done today. But my friend, perfection is not a requirement for progress. Progress doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be real. Folding one shirt is better than leaving the pile. Writing one sentence is better than staring at a blank page. 5 minutes of stretching is better than promising to work out extra hard tomorrow and never doing it. The all-or-nothing mindset is like handcuffs you've put on yourself. It convinces you to act only when you have the time, energy, and inspiration, all of which rarely show up at the same time. Meanwhile, there's so much you could do in tiny, manageable steps. Open the book, write a title, tidy up 3 notebooks, read 1 page, take a 3-minute walk. You don't need one big breakthrough to change your life. You just need enough small steps. And most importantly, you need to start. Not at the perfect time, but at the exact moment you were about to give up. 4. Plan simply and realistically. One of the quickest ways to lose motivation is this. You make a long, detailed plan, and then end up doing none of it. You wake up, open your to-do list packed with 10 different tasks, and your brain doesn't feel excited. It feels exhausting. And when you can't even finish half of it, you start feeling like a failure, guilty all over again, repeating the same cycle tomorrow. The problem isn't that you're not capable, the problem is that your planning style is overwhelming you. What you need is a system that feels lighter, less pressuring but still clear. Try skipping the daily to-do list for a while and instead plan by the month. It might sound vague at first, but it's actually simple. Just write down the big things you need to get done this month. Exams, work deadlines, important events. Then, each week, pick a few small steps to move closer to those goals. This method has 2 major benefits. First, you know what you're working toward long-term, so you don't feel lost. Second, you're allowed to be flexible, because you've got a whole week to manage your time, not just one day. And the best part? You'll start to feel like you're in control of your time instead of constantly being chased by it. You don't need fancy apps or complicated tools. A printed calendar or a simple notebook works just fine. What matters is that you can see the bigger picture. And you know that even if today wasn't productive, there's still tomorrow. And your plan? It'll still be there, waiting for you. It doesn't judge you, it just quietly reminds you, these are the things you care about, keep going. Planning isn't about turning you into a productivity machine. It's about helping you feel less scattered, less stressed about remembering everything, and more grounded in your own life. 5. Clear your space, ease decision fatigue. You probably don't realize it, but every time you ask yourself, "Where's my shirt? Where's my charger? What should I do first?" You're draining mental energy. And when these small questions pile up every day, they create something called decision fatigue, a state that makes you tired, frustrated, and totally unmotivated to even begin. The ironic part? Most of those tiny decisions come from things you can control. A messy room, a cluttered desk, clothes everywhere, random papers in all the wrong places. You're not lazy, you're just mentally tired because your brain has to sort through chaos before it can focus on anything important. Getting out of that cycle is easier than you think. You don't need to deep clean your whole house, just start with one simple rule. Tidy up your space before you go to bed, just 5 minutes. Clear off your desk, lay out tomorrow's clothes, put books back where they belong. It might feel small, but it's a message to your future self. Tomorrow, we're starting with clarity. And when you wake up in a clean space, you'll feel mentally lighter and way more ready to take action. Here's another game changer. When you're working and want to take a break, don't just get up and walk away. Set up your space for your next task before you leave. Open the tab you'll need, stack your papers neatly, remove distractions. That way when you sit back down, you won't have to think, you can just pick up where you left off. This is especially powerful if you struggle to get back on track after taking breaks. You don't need to become a minimalist, but you do need a space that's quiet enough, clean enough, and calm enough for your brain to breathe. Because creativity, focus, and progress don't come from chaos, they come from space. 6. Build hard commitments, discipline without relying on willpower. We often talk about discipline like it's some kind of superpower, something that requires intense willpower, extraordinary determination, and maybe a little superhuman energy. But the truth is, most of the people you think are super disciplined aren't like that because they're constantly motivated, they just have systems. They know that willpower runs out over the course of the day, so they create situations where they don't have to make decisions, they just follow through. Remember being in school? Even when you were tired, lazy, or just not in the mood, you still managed to sit through 6 to 8 hours of class every day. Not because you were insanely productive, but because you didn't have a choice. Classes were scheduled, the bell rang, and you had to show up. You didn't have to decide, you just did it. That's what a hard commitment looks like. So why not bring that same system into your adult life? Instead of studying alone at home and ending up scrolling through your phone, try meeting a friend at a cafe to study together. Just having someone there makes you more likely to stay focused. You're less likely to slack off when someone's watching. Or sign up for a class or a workout session that costs money. Once you've paid for it, you're way more likely to show up. Even something as simple as going to the library 2 hours before it closes and telling yourself you can only leave when it shuts down can be surprisingly effective. You'll get more done in those 2 hours than you would in an entire afternoon at home. Creating hard commitments takes the pressure off your willpower. You don't have to ask yourself, should I do it now? Or should I even start? Your schedule answers that for you. And here's the powerful part. When you keep showing up for those small commitments, no matter how simple, they start to build something bigger: self-trust. You begin to believe that you're the kind of person who follows through. That belief changes everything. It shifts your identity from someone who always procrastinates to someone who takes action. If you're feeling even a little spark of motivation after watching this video, don't let it fade. Turn it into something real, even if it's small. Head to the comments and share one thing you'll do today, even if it's just, "I'll clean off my desk," or "I'll write one sentence of my essay." I'll read every single one, and I truly believe your words might inspire someone else too. If this video helps you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future content, where we don't just talk about change, we build it together, one step at a time. Thanks so much for sticking with me until the end. I'll see you in the next video. And hey, even if you only get one small thing done today, remind yourself of this: you're moving forward, and that matters.